this is cjhoyle. Today is Monday, July the 5th, 2021. And in this video, I'm going to be giving a narrated tour of the brand new bike lanes here on Yonge Street in Midtown Toronto. I'm just riding southbound on Yonge, approaching the intersection of Yonge and Davisville Avenue, or Chaplin Cres if you were to turn to the right. And beginning at this point here, spanning all the way down to Bloor Street, Yonge Street now has a protected bike lane. So I filmed a number of videos on this section of Yonge Street within the last year, including one of them where I asked my viewers to sign a petition to support bike lanes. And thanks to all of you who helped with adding your name to that petition, we now have some actual bike lanes to ride on, which is a really nice thing to celebrate. We're just about to pass Merton Street and go underneath of the bridge for the Beltline Trail, the Gardner Beltline Trail, which I filmed a video earlier this spring riding my bike along, and also a video last winter cross-country skiing along. So over on the left, on the other side of Yonge Street, is the Mount Pleasant Cemetery that we're riding past here. And over to our right, behind that fence over there, is where the Line 1 Yonge University subway runs, which runs parallel to Yonge Street for the stretch that we'll be riding along. And Yonge has remained an important corridor for people getting places for just about as long as Toronto's existed, and it's now a great place for people to be able to ride their bikes to get from Midtown to downtown. People have been advocating for bike lanes on Yonge Street for at least 10 years now. So it's really good to see that we finally got some to actually ride on. We're now just about at Heath Street. And the next major intersection after that is St Clair Avenue. And we'll just wait patiently for our green light. So this bike lane was installed over the course of the last 2 or so weeks. They moved very swiftly at getting everything installed. Although it's not entirely done. They've still got some finishing touches left to put on it. But it is rideable from end to end, so I decided that I would come and ride it now and make this video. We've got a red light here at St. Clair. St. Clair has a streetcar line that runs along it in the west direction from here, and it also has a subway station underground underneath of it. And there's also a subway stop. The one that we passed before then was at Davisville Avenue, or Chaplin Cres. So it's quite a hot day today. It's around 28 degrees Celsius. Not really setting any records for temperature, but warmer than it has been. We've had kind of a mild spring and beginning of summer, which I found very comfortable. I certainly wasn't complaining about that. All right, there's our green light. So now along this section of Yonge, you'll see a bunch more of the patios that have been built as part of this bike lane. It's actually called this transformation is not just a bike lane, it's what's called a complete street, which encompasses improving the experience and making it viable for many different road users, including pedestrians, cyclists, transit vehicles, and of course, motor vehicles. But it also includes giving a space outdoors for the local restaurants to have additional patio space to serve their clients, which is something that's important during this pandemic that we're still living through here. Just passing Rose Hill Avenue, and if you were to turn to the left here, that would take you to the Rose Hill Reservoir, which the top of it is known as David Balfour Park. And recently I made a video where I rode my bike down through a ravine where I came back up the Vale of Avoca, which ended at that park. So they formed these temporary patios using planter boxes with flowers in them, and on the outside they've used concrete curbs with flexible posts on top of them, giving the cyclists really their own protected space.
That's everything.
And we've got another intersection here, Woodlawn. I seem to be getting every red light along here, but that's okay. It just means the video will be a bit longer and you'll get to enjoy seeing more people using this new streetscape. So they've added that protection I was mentioning over here on the southbound lane, but as of right this moment, the northbound lane doesn't have any type of protection yet. They have not put any concrete over there or any bollards or anything. I guess that's because most of the patios, most of the restaurants are over here on this southbound side. But like I said, this project is not yet done. It's still in the stages of construction. There's still remaining work left to be done. And I'll also mention that this is a temporary installation. Being installed as part of the Active TO program, as well as the Cafe TO program, two of the city's pandemic response measures. Okay, didn't quite get a red light on that one, so we'll keep on going. Now we're just going to be riding underneath of the Canadian Pacific Railway tracks here. And there's that red light that we didn't just catch. Really can be hit or miss, whether you hit the red lights or not. And there's our green light. And another patio to go around. And lots of people out enjoying these patios on this hot summer day. It's kind of early still. It's only about 5:30 right now. But around 6 o'clock, 6:30, those patios would probably be pretty full with all the tables occupied. This area here is part of the neighborhood of Rosedale. So with this being a temporary bike lane, there's a chance that in a year or so the city might decide that they don't want to have a bike lane here anymore. But considering how nicely it's transformed this neighborhood, as well as how great it's been for giving people different options for being able to travel around, that would be a real disappointment. So we're really hoping that this project goes over well. So I'll tell you a few ways that you can help to ensure the continued future of this Yonge Street bike lane, and hopefully the extension of it further north and further south. First thing you can do is come out and ride it, because the city's not going to keep in a bike lane if no one's using it, so the more people that ride it, the better. Another thing that you can do is post to social media about how much you like the new bike lane. It helps if you will tag the mayor and local councilors to say thank you for installing this bike lane. At the end of the video, I'll show you a couple examples of some social media posts that I've made with that in mind. But really, we shouldn't take this for granted, because one of the bike lanes that was installed as part of Active TO last year was one on a road called Brimley out in Scarborough, and it was only in the ground for a couple of months. And when the fall came, the city made the decision that they didn't want to have it anymore, and there's no longer a bike lane on Brimley anymore. So even though there's a bike lane in the ground here, we can't take our foot off the pedal with applying the pressure to get safe infrastructure here in our city. So I've now reached Davenport Road here, which is an east-west street that I've filmed a couple of videos along in the past. And we're now kind of more in the downtown part of Toronto, whereas at the beginning we started in what's more commonly known as Midtown Toronto. We've mostly been coming downhill as well. Here's our green light. This area towards our right is part of the neighborhood known as Yorkville, and this road that we're crossing here is actually called Yorkville Avenue. And like I said, this bike lane goes all the way to Bloor Street, which also has a bike lane on it. It's also a temporary bike lane, at least this middle section of it. But we're just about to get to Bloor Street right now. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed joining me on this narrated tour. If you watched all the way to the end of this video, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to make social media posts and come and ride the Yonge bike lane. And thanks for watching.